For the first time ever, Brendan Rodgers has lost a cup game in charge of Celtic on his 25th cup match as boss as Celtic lost 1-0 to Kilmarnock. In today's video we will discuss the match whilst also going over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours. But first, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Celtic content. Celtic suffered a 1-0 defeat to Kilmarnock, leading to their early exit from the Viaplay Sports Cup before even reaching the quarter-finals. It was a dreadful game at Rugby Park, but you can't say a result like this wasn't coming. Fair play to the fans at the match though. They were in fine voice for the full 90 minutes, despite the disaster they were watching unfold before them. Here are 3 key takeaways from the match. Number 1. Immediate improvements required. Greg Taylor struggles. Once a standout performer under Ange Postecoglou, left-back Greg Taylor struggled immensely in the game. His offensive contributions were lacklustre, and he left much to be desired defensively. It's becoming increasingly clear that Taylor might not be the best fit for Brendan Rodgers' system. With the transfer window still open, it might be time to consider reinforcements in this position. Winger woes, both Maida and Abada had a day to forget. The duo failed to create any significant chances, and their lack of conviction with the ball was evident. The departure of Jota has left a gaping hole in the squad, and his absence was felt more than ever. A replacement for Jota seems imperative for Celtic to regain their competitive edge. Number 2. Lacklustre play. This might have been one of the laziest performances from Celtic in recent memory. The players seemed disinterested, with minimal movement off the ball. The wingers, instead of driving the play forward, often chose to slow down the game, leading to a lack of creativity. The entire match felt like it was being played in slow motion, with Celtic's usual flair and dynamism conspicuously absent. Number 3. A silver lining, Gustav Lagerbilk. In a game dominated by negatives for Celtic, one of the only positives was Gustav Lagerbilk's on-the-ball play. His direct approach and penetrating passes, especially down the left flank, were a breath of fresh air in the uninspiring Celtic team. On a different day, his contributions could have been the difference maker for Celtic. Despite the team's overall poor performance, Lagerbilk's display offers a glimmer of hope for the future. Must improve on his passing though. The statistics from the match paint a bleak picture for the Hoops, highlighting their offensive struggles throughout the game. Despite having 8 attempts at a goal, Celtic failed to register a single shot on target, an embarrassing stat for the Scottish champions. This statistic is particularly alarming for a team known for its attacking prowess and flair. The lack of precision and clinical finishing was evident as chance after chance went begging. Kilmarnock, on the other hand, showcased efficiency in front of the goal. With the same number of attempts as Celtic, they managed to get half of them on target, eventually capitalising on one to secure their victory. As the current holders of the League Cup, much was expected from Celtic. Fans and pundits alike anticipated a strong defence of their title. However, the team's inability to test the opposition goalkeeper, coupled with defensive lapses, has led the team to an early exit from a competition they dominated just a season ago. Club legend Chris Sutton voices concerns about the current state of the team. Sutton, always one to wear his heart on his sleeve, tweeted, "Can't say it's a huge shock Celtic losing. The squad is weaker than last season, and that should never have been the case." Sutton's comments echoed the feelings of many within the Celtic support. The Hoops couldn't find the back of the net and didn't look likely to. With 8 attempts, not one tested the killie keeper. For Sutton, a man who has given so much to the club and knows the weight of the jersey, such stats are hard to swallow. His remarks about the squad's comparative strength to the previous season are also correct. Jota, who was a shining light in the Celtic team, hasn't been replaced, and it was evident today with the poor performances from the wingers. Sutton, like many other fans, feel the urgency for quality reinforcements. Rodgers and Celtic must get their act together before risking further disasters in the future, but as Sutton said, this loss wasn't unexpected at all. Brendan Rodgers was obviously not happy after the match. Speaking to BBC Radio Scotland, he said, "We didn't do enough to win the game. We had a couple of good moments in the first half and had some pressure in the second half. We are disappointed with the goal. The goal came from a throw-in. Even though we were a man down at the time, the ball shouldn't get that far. We have to defend it better. On the other side of it, we didn't do enough when we had the ball or showed enough quality or personality when we had it. I thought Yong came on and made a difference for us. Haksabanovic looked a threat as well. But other than that, we didn't have a quality to win the game." It is widely known that Brendan Rodgers is still looking to add to his Celtic squad before the end of the summer transfer window. Several players have been linked with moves to Glasgow's East End, the latest being Patrick Roberts. According to the journalist Alan Nixon, Hoops gaffer Rodgers admires the player, and he is one of several names being considered at Parkhead. After spending 2.5 years in Glasgow, where he played some impressive stuff under the now Celtic boss, Rodgers went on to play for several clubs, but has found a home in Sunderland. The Englishman has been with the side for 1.5 years now, and last season narrowly missed out on the Premier League promotion, as the Black Cats made it to the playoff semi-finals. Roberts having a year left on his deal, combined with Rodgers' return to Parkhead, meant links this summer would be inevitable. For Celtic, now is the time to progress and look forward, not back. The 26-year-old has undoubted talent, but this move would seem rather unprogressive. Celtic is one of the biggest football clubs in the world. The Hoops' presence is felt in the far corners of the earth. New recruit Yong put in testament to this with his latest comments. The South Korean winger has impressed in his recent cameos for the champions, and many fans are eager for him to gain more minutes. The player pushed hard for the move when he inevitably found out about the possibility of it, because it was always been a dream of his to play for the champions. Recently, the 21-year-old has spoken about how he admired the club in his younger years due to the exploits of some of his compatriots. Yong said, "Celtic have always been my dream club, so when I first heard of their interest, it was like a dream come true for me. There was no moment of hesitation for me. I was fixed on this move from the very first moment. I watched Celtic games when I was younger, when Key and Cha played for the club. I watched them a lot." Despite living in a faraway land, Yong still held interest in the club he now plays for in his younger years. In the present day, he has followed in the footsteps of some of his idols, and is currently one of 3 South Koreans to represent Celtic. Over the course of his Hoops career, the 2022 K-League Young Player of the Year will want to continually capture the imagination and win as many pieces of silverware as possible. Stephen Welsh has damaged ligaments in his ankle and will require surgery, ruling him out of the next 3 to 4 months of Celtic action. It was reported on Saturday that the defender would be out for at least 8 weeks, but in the pre-match interview today, Rodgers confirmed he'd be on the sidelines for even longer. He told BBC Radio Scotland that the timeline is more likely 3 or 4 months, and that he will require an operation. In separate comments made to the TV broadcaster via Play, Rodgers noted the unfortunate nature of the injury, saying it came right at the end of Friday's training session. The injury is a bitter blow to Welsh, who suffered the injury just hours after it was announced he had signed a new long-term contract with the club. Rodgers had made the decision to make him one of his 4 prime defensive options for the coming season, and the manager confirmed in the interviews today that he would have started at Rugby Park if not for the injury. Now the opportunity to earn minutes in the early stages is over for the academy graduate, who is facing a pretty long road of recovery and rehabilitation. The likelihood is that he won't be back involved within the squad in a meaningful fashion until after the winter break. Celtic fans, what do you make of today's performance against Kilmarnock? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. That brings us to the end of today's video, guys. Make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Remember, we have released our brand new Celtic t-shirts. We have our Brennan Rodgers Pope t-shirt and our Celtic Ultra t-shirts too. You can find them at celticapparel.com or just go down to the link in the description. Thank you, take care, bye bye.